All glories to Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai. All glories to Srila Krishna Das Kaviraj Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Sri Chaitanya Charitamrta Madhya Lila, Chapter 20, Text 174. Bhava Prakasha Krishnera Sri Balarama Varnamatra Veda Sabha Krishnera Samana. The first manifestation of the Vaibhava feature of Krishna is Sri Balaramji. Sri Balaram and Krishna have different bodily colors, but otherwise Sri Balaram is equal to Krishna in all respects. Purport. To understand the difference between Svayamrup, Tadekatmarup, Avesha Prabhava, and Vaibhava, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur has given the following description. In the beginning, Krishna has three bodily features. 1. Svayamrup, as a cowherd boy in Vrindavan. 2. Tad Ekatmaru, which is divided into Svamshaka and Vilasa. And 3. Avesharu. The Svamshaka, or expansions of the personal potency, are 1. Karno-Dakshai Vishnu, Garbo-Dakshai, and Kshiro-Dakshai Vishnu. And 2. Incarnations such as the fish, tortoise, boar, and Narasimha. The Vilasarup has a Prabhava division, including Vasudeva, Sankarshna, Pradyumna, and Aniruddha. There is also a Vaibhava division, in which there are 24 forms, including the second Vasudeva, Sankarshan, Pradyumna, and Aniruddha. For each of these, there are 3 forms. There are 12 forms altogether. These 12 forms constitute the predominant names for the 12 months of the year, as well as the 12 tilak marks on the body. Each of the 4 personalities of Godhead expands into 2 other forms. Thus there are 8 forms, such as Purushottama, Achyuta, etc. The 4 forms, Vasudeva, etc., the 12, Keshava, etc., and the 8, Purushottama, etc., all together constitute 24 forms. The forms are differently named in accordance with the placement of the weapons they hold in their 4 hands. 175. Vaibhava prakashayoche devaki tanuja vibhuja svarupa kabu haya chaturbuja. An example of Vaibhava Prakash is the son of Devaki. He sometimes has 2 hands and sometimes 4 hands. Purport. When Lord Krishna took his birth, he appeared outside the womb as 4-handed Vishnu. Then Devaki and Vasudeva offered their prayers to him and asked him to assume his 2-handed form. The Lord immediately assumed his 2-handed form and ordered that he be transferred to Gokula, on the other side of the river Yamuna. 176. Ye kale dvibhuja nama vaibhava prakasha chaturbuja haile nama prabhava prakasha. When the Lord is 2-handed, he is called Vaibhava Prakash, and when he is 4-handed, he is called Prabhava Prakash. (177) Svayam rupera gopa vesha gopa abhimana vasudvera kshatriya vesha amikshatriya jnana. In his original form, the Lord dresses like a cowherd boy and thinks himself one. When he appears as Vasudeva, the son of Vasudeva, and Devaki, his dress and consciousness are those of a Kshatriya warrior. Vasudeva. When he appears as Vasudeva. Text 178. Saundarya Esvarya Madhurya Vaidhagya Vilasa Rajendra Nanda Neha Adhika Ulasa. When one compares the beauty, opulence, sweetness, and intellectual pastimes of Vasudeva, the warrior, to Krishna, the cowherd boy, the son of Nanda Maharaj, one sees that Krishna's attributes are more pleasant. (179) Govindera Badhuri Dekhi Vasudevera Choba Se madhuri aspadite upajaya loba. Indeed, Vasudeva is agitated just to see the sweetness of Govinda, and a transcendental greed awakens in him to enjoy that sweetness. 180. Udgir nadbhuta madhuri parimalasya bhadira lilasya me vaitam hanta samikshayan muhur aso chitriyate charana cheta keli kutuhalo taralitam satyam sake mamakam yasya preksha sparupatam braja vadu sarupyam anivichati. My dear friend, this dramatic actor appears like a second form of my own self. Like a picture, he displays my pastimes as a cowherd boy, overflowing with wonderfully attractive sweetness and fragrance, which are so dear to the damsels of Raja. When I see such a display, my heart becomes greatly excited. I long for such pastimes and desire a form exactly like that of the damsels of Raja. Purport. This is a verse found in the Lalita Madhava 4.19, as was spoken by Vasudeva in Dwarka. 181. Mathuraya yarche gandharva nritya dharashane kunadvara kate yarche chitra vilokane. One instance of Vasudeva's attraction to Krishna occurred when Vasudeva saw the Gandharva dance at Mathura. Another instance occurred in Dwarka when Vasudeva was surprised to see a picture of Krishna. 182. Apari kalita purvakas chamakara kari suratu mama gariyan isa madhurya pura ayam maham api hanta preksha yam lubda cheta sarabhasam upabhoktam kamaye radhi keva. Who manifests an abundance of sweetness greater than mine, which has never been experienced before, which causes wonder to all. Alas, I myself, my mind bewildered upon seeing this beauty, impetuously desire to enjoy it like Srimati Radharani. This verse spoken by Vasudeva in Dwarka is also recorded by Srila Rupa Goswami in his Lalita Madhava 8.34. 183. Seivapu binhabase kichu binakara bhavavesha kriti bede tarikatmama tamra. When that body is a little differently manifested and its features are a little different in transcendental emotion and form, it is called tad ekatma. 184. Tad ekatma ruphe vilasa svamsa duhi beda vilasa svamshera bede vibirha vibeda. In the tad ekatma rup, there are pastime expansions, vilasa, and personal expansions, svamsa. Consequently, there are two divisions. According to pastime and personal expansion, there are various differences. The Lord's Vilasa expansions are described in the following verse from the Lagu Bhagavatamrita 1.15. Swarupam anyakaram yat tasya bhati vilashata kayenatma samam shaktya savilaso nagajyate. When the Lord displays numerous forms with different features by his inconceivable potency, such forms are called Vilasa Vigrahas. The Lord's Svamsa expansions are also described in the Lagu Bhagavatamrita 1.17. Tadrisho Nayuna Shaktim Yo Pyanakti Svamsa Irita Sankarshana Dirmatyadir Yata Tatat Svadhamasu. When a form of Krishna is non-different from the original form, but is less important and exhibits less potency, it is called Svamsa. Examples of Svamsa expansions can be found in the quadruple forms of the Lord residing in their respective places, beginning with Sankarshna, Vasudeva, Pradyumna, and Aniruddha, and also in the Purusha avatars, Lila avatars, Manvantara avatars, and Yuga avatars. 185. Prabhava Vaibhava Bede Vilasadvidhakara Vilasera Vilasavera Ananta Prakara. Again, the Vilasa forms are divided into twofold categories, Prabhava and Vaibhava. Again, the pastimes of these forms are unlimited variety. 186. Prabhava Vilasa Vasudeva Sankarshana Pradyumna Aniruddha Mukhya Charijana. The chief quadruple expansions are named Vasudeva, Sankarshna, Pradyumna, and Aniruddha. These are called Prabhava Vilas. 187. Raje Gopa Bhavara Mera Pure Kshatriya Bhavana Varnavesha Bedatate Vilasa Tandra Nama. Balaram, who has the same original form as Krishna, is himself a cowherd born in Vrindavan, and he also considers himself a member of the Kshatriya race in Dwarka. Thus his color and dress are different, and he is called a pastime form of Krishna. 188. Vaibhava Prakashayara Prabhava Vilase Ekai Murtye Baladeva Bhava Bede Base. Sri Balaram is a Vaibhava Prakash manifestation of Krishna. He is also manifested in the original quadruple expansions of Vasudeva, Sankarshna, Pradyumna, and Aniruddha. These are Prabhava Vilas expansions with different emotions. 189. Adi Chatur Vyuha Inhara Keha Nahi Sama Ananta Chatur Vyuha Ganera Praktaya Karana. The first expansion of the Chatur Vyuha, quadruple forms, is unique. There is nothing to compare with them. These quadruple forms are the source of unlimited quadruple forms. 190. Krishnera Eichari Prabhava Vilasa Dvarka Mathura Pure Nitya Inharavasa. These four Prabhava pastime forms of Lord Krishna reside eternally in Dwarka and Mathura. 191. Eichari Hoite Chabisa Murti Parakasha Astra Bede Nama Beda Vaibhava Vilasa. From the original quadruple expansions, 24 forms are manifested. They differ according to the placement of the weapons in their four hands. They are called Vaibhava Vilas. 192. Punha Krishna Chatur Vyuha Lana Purva Rupe Paravyoma Madhye Vaishe Narayana Rupe. Lord Krishna again expands, and within the Paravyoma, the spiritual sky, he is situated in fullness as the four-handed Narayana, accompanied by expansions of the original quadruple form. Purport. At the top of Paravyoma, the spiritual sky, there is Goloka Vrindavan, which is divided into three parts. Two of the parts, called Mathura and Dwarka, are residences of Krishna in his Prabhava Vilasa forms. Balaram, Krishna's Vaibhava Prakash, is eternally situated in Gokula. From the quadruple Prabhava Vilas, 24 forms of the Vaibhava Vilas are expanded. Each has four hands holding weapons in different positions. The topmost planet in the spiritual sky is Goloka Vrindavan, and below that planet is the spiritual sky itself. In that spiritual sky, Krishna himself is four-handed and is situated as Narayana. 193. Tanha hoite punha chatur vyuha parakasha aparana rupe chari dike yandravasa. Thus, the original quadruple forms again manifest themselves in a second set of quadruple expansions. The residents of these second quadruple expansions cover the four directions. 194. Chari jane rapuna prataktina tina murti keshavari yaha hoite vila sera purti. Again, these quadruple forms expand 3 times, beginning with Keshava. This is the fulfillment of the pastime forms. 195. Chakradi dharana veda nama veda sabha vasudevera murti keshava narayana madhava. Out of the Chatur Vyuha, there are 3 expansions of each and every form, and they are named differently according to the position of the weapons. The Vasudeva expansions are Keshava, Narayana, and Madhava. 196. Sankarsha Nera Murti Govinda Vishnu Marusudhana Ayanya Govinda Nahe Rajendra Nandana. The expansions of Sankarshan are Govinda, Vishnu, and Madhusudan. This Govinda is different from the original Govinda, for he is not the son of Maharaj Nanda. 197. Pradhiyumnera Murti Trivikrama Bhamana Sridhara Anirudhera Murti Hrishikesh Padmana Badhamodhara. The expansions of Pradyumna are Trivikram, Vamana, and Sridhara. The expansions of Aniruddha are Rishikesh, Padmanabha, and Damodar. 198. Jai Shri Damodar Ki Jai. 198. Vadasa Masirha Devata Ei Barajana Margashirshe Keshava Hoshe Narayana. These 12 are the predominating deities of the 12 months. Keshava is the predominating deity of Agrayana, and Narayana is the predominating deity of Pausha. 199. Maghera Devata Madhava Govinda Fagune Chaitre Vishnu Vaishakhe Sri Madhusudhana. The predominating deity of the month of Magha is Madhava, and the predominating deity of the month of Phagun is Govinda. Vishnu is the predominating deity of Chaitra, and Madhusudan is the predominating deity of Vaishakha. 200. Jaiste Trivikramasha Deha Vamana Devesha Shravane Sridhara Bhadre Deva Rishikesha. In the month of Jaista, the predominating deity is Trivikram. In Ashadha, the deity is Vamana. In Shravana, the deity is Sridhar. And in Bhadra, the deity is Rishikesh. 201. Asvine Padmanabha Kartike Damodara Radha Damodara Anya Rajendra Konara. In the month of Asvina, the predominating deity is Padmanabha, and in Kartik it is Damodar. This Damodar is different from Radha Damodar, the son of Nanda Maharaj in Vrindavan. 202. Vadasa tilaka mantra e vadasa nama achamane e name sparshi tat tatstana. When putting on the 12 tilak marks on the 12 places of the body, one has to chant the mantra consisting of those 12 Vishnu names. After daily worship, when one anoints the different parts of the body with water, These names should be chanted as one touches each part of the body. While marking purport, while marking the body with tilak, one should chant the following mantra, which consists of 12 names of Lord Vishnu. Lalate Keshavam Dhyayen Lalate Keshavam Dhyayen Narayanam Atodare Vakshastale Madhavam tu Govindam Kanta Kupake Vishnum Chadakshine Kukshav Baho Chamadhusudanam Trivikramam Kandharetu Vamanam Vama Parspake Sridharam Vama Baho tu Rishkesham tu Kandhanhare Dreste Chapad Manabham Cha Kajam Dama Dharam Yaset. When one marks the forehead with tilak, he must remember Keshava. When one marks the lower abdomen, he must remember Narayana. For the chest, one should remember Madhava. And when marking the hollow of the neck, one should remember Govinda. Lord Vishnu should be remembered while marking the right side of the belly, and Madhusudan should be remembered when marking the right arm. Trivikram should be remembered when marking the right shoulder, and Vamana should be remembered when marking the left side of the belly. Sridhara should be remembered while marking the left arm, and Rishikesh should be remembered when marking the left shoulder. Padmanabha and Damodar should be remembered when marking the back. 203. Ei chari janera vilasa murti ara astalana tansabara namakahi sunasanatana. From Vasudev, Sankarshan, Pradyumna, and Aniruddha, there are 8 additional pastime expansions. O Sanatan, please hear me as I mention their names. 204. Purushottama Achyuta Narasimha Janardana Hari Krishna Adhokshaja Upendra Astajana. The 8 pastime expansions are Purushottama, Achyuta, Narasimha, Janardana, Hari, Krishna, Adhokshaja, and Upendra. 205. Vasudevera Vilasa Dui Adhokshaja Purushottama Sankarshanera Vilasa Upendra Chuta Duijana. Of these 8 expansions, 2 are pastime forms of Vasudeva. Their names are Adhokshaja and Purushottama. The 2 pastime forms of Sankarsana are Upendra and Achyuta. 206. Pradyumne Ravilasa Narasimha Janardana Anirudhera Vilasa Hari Krishna Duhijana. The pastime forms of Pradyumna are Narasimha and Janardana, and the pastime forms of Aniruddha are Hari and Krishna. 207. Ei chabisa murti prabhava vilasa pradhana astradharana bidhadare bina nama. All these 24 forms constitute the chief prabhava vilas pastime forms of the Lord. They are named differently according to the position of the weapons in their hands. 208. Inhara majhe yahara haya akara vishabhera sei haya vilasa vaibhava vibhera. Of all these, the forms that differ in dress and features are distinguished as Vaibhava Vilas. 209. Padmanabha Trivikrama Narasimha Vamana Hari Krishna Hari Haya Akare Vilakshana. Of them, Padmanabha, Trivikram, Nrsimha, Vamana, Hari, Krishna, and so on, all have different bodily features. 210. Krishnera Prabhava Vilasa Vasudevhari Charijana Sei Charijana Ravilasa Vimshati Ganana. Vasudev and the three others are direct Prabhava pastime forms of Lord Krishna. Of these quadruple forms, the pastime expansions are 20 in number. 211. Inhasabara Prithak Vaikunta Paravyoma Dhame Purvadiya Sadike Tina Tina Krame. All these forms preside over different Vaikuntha planets in the spiritual world, beginning from the east in consecutive order. In each of the 8 directions, there are 3 different forms. 212. Yajyapi Parabhyoma Sabakara Nitya Dhamma Tatapi Brahmande Karu Kanhu Sanidhana. Although they all have their residences eternally in the spiritual sky, some of them are situated within the material universe. 213. Paravyoma Madhe Narayanera Nityastiti Paravyoma Upari Krishna Lokera Vibhuti. There is an eternal residence of Narayana in the spiritual sky. In the upper portion of the spiritual sky is a planet known as Krishna Loka, which is filled with all opulences. 214. Eka Krishna Lokahaya Trividha Prakara Gokula Kya Mathura Kya Dvarakaya Ara. The planet of Krishna Loka is divided into 3 sections: Gokula, Mathura, and Dwarka. 215. Mathura te Keshavera Nitya Sanidhana Nilachala Purushottama Jagannatha Nama. Lord Keshava eternally resides at Mathura, and Lord Purushottama, known by the name Jagannath, eternally resides at Nilachala. 216. Prayage Madhava Mandare Sri Madhusudhana Anandaranye Vasudeva Padmanabha Janardana. At Prayag, the Lord is situated as Bindu Madhava, and at Mandara Parvata, the Lord is known as Madhusudan. Vasudev, Padmanabha, and Janardana reside at Anandaranya. 217. Vishnu Kanchiti Vishnu Harirahi Mayapure Archayara Nanamurti Brahmananda Vitare. At Vishnu Kanchi there is Lord Vishnu, at Mayapur Lord Hari, and throughout the universe a variety of other forms. Purport. All of these forms are Murti forms. They are worshipped in the temples. Their names are Keshava at Mathura, Purushottama or Jagannath at Nilachala, Sri Bindu, Madhava at Prayag, Madhusudan at Mandara, and Vasudev, Padmanabha at Janardhan, and Janardhan at Anandaranya, which is situated in Kerala, South India. At Vishnu Kanchi is Lord Varadaraja, and Hari is situated at Mayapur, Lord Chaitanya's birth site. Thus, in different places throughout the universe, there are various deities in temples bestowing their causeless mercy upon the devotees. All these deity forms are non-different from the Murtis in the spiritual world of the Vaikunthas. Although the Archa Murti, the worshipable deity form of the Lord, appears to be made of material elements, it is as good as the spiritual forms found in the spiritual Vaikuntha lokas. The deity in the temple, however, is visible to the material eyes of the devotee. It is not possible for one in material conditioned life to see the spiritual form of the Lord. To bestow causeless mercy upon us, the Lord appears as the Archamurti so that we can see him. It is forbidden to consider the Archamurti to be made of stone or wood. In the Padma Purana, it is said, Arche Vishnu, Shiladhir Purushu, Naramatir Vaishnave Jati Budir, Vishnurva Vaishnavanam Kali Mala Matane Padatirtha Mububudi Shri Vishnurna Nimantrisha Kala Kalushahe Shabda Samanya Budir Vishnu Sarves Vareshetad Itara Sama Diryasya Va Naraki Saha. No one should consider the deity in the temple to be made of stone or wood, nor should one consider the spiritual master an ordinary human being. No one should consider a Vaishnava to belong to a particular caste or creed, and no one should consider Charitamrta, or the Ganges water, to be like ordinary water. Nor should anyone consider the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra to be a material vibration. All these expansions of Krishna in the material world are simply demonstrations of the Lord's mercy and willingness to give facility to his devotees who are engaged in his devotional service within the material world. Thus ends our reading for today. All glories to Sripad Bhakti Madhava Puri Maharaj Ki Jai. All glories to Om Vishnupad Srila Bhakti Vimalacharya Maharaj Ki Jai. Nitai Gaura Haribol. Hare Krishna.